I came straight up from the shore, sand still in my boots, and I've planted myself here at your window on purpose. What the world does to the light once it comes to our door, you said, and shut it in my face. Well, here's the door, here's the glass in it, and I've stood here since with a grievance coming slowly to the boil.
Better it boils over on the sill than smoulders all night. Name the crime. What's the glass done to set you against it?
You have, not the glass. 2 weeks you swore light keeps one speed and one only. No window, no vote, no exceptions. The pace Maxwell's 2 laws pin down, and nothing talks it out of. I built my sky on that. And then, ushering me out, you let slip that a pane of ordinary glass slows the stuff. So one of you's a liar. The you of the fortnight or the you of the doorway. Which is it?
Neither. And before you leave, you'll have watched the 2 of them shake hands and mean it. The one speed stands. I'd sooner burn the course than dent it.
But that's the sting of it. Last week you swore an entire void couldn't slow it by a hair. Nothing out there to drag on it at all. And now a finger's width of glass does what a starless gulf couldn't?
The gulf has nothing in it to answer. No charge to shake, no echo to sing. Glass is the opposite country, a charge at every step, an answer at every step. Emptiness lets light race untouched. Matter talks back, and the talking back is what costs the time.
But you can't have it both ways. Either the light holds its speed, or a window steals some of it. There's no fence to sit on.
And light does dawdle in glass. Your own eyes caught it snapping a straw in 2 at the waterline. Both true, this one room, tonight. And you spent a whole night swearing nothing in creation beats light. So I know how it galls you to hear a cottage window talk it into ambling.
It more than galls me. It sounds like you're about to knock over the thing you built. So before you do, tell me the tempting mistake, since you always warn me off one first. What's the wrong way to make peace between them?
Picture the glass as a crowd, and the light as a man wading through it. In the open street, he strides his one pace, free and quick. Push him into treacle, into deep sand, into a packed room, and the crowd drags at him, jostles him, and he slows. Slows because the stuff is thick, and he must fight through it. Try it on. Does it fit?
It fits far too snugly. That's what worries me. Glass is dense, denser than air, so of course it drags at the light the way mud drags a boot. The wave shoulders into all that packed matter and has to shove, and the shoving costs it pace. Are you about to tell me the plain sense of it is rotten?
Rotten to the core. And rotten because of the one speed you're so cross about. If the wave truly slowed, genuinely crawled through the glass below its one pace, then you'd have caught me in the lie. And the fortnight really would be rubble.
So the wading picture doesn't just mislead me.
It murders the course. We keep the one speed, or we keep the molasses. We cannot keep both. Out it goes, and I know that leaves you holding nothing.
Holding nothing, and cross about that too. If the light isn't fighting through treacle, not shouldered and dragged by a thick crowd, and yet it comes out the far side of the glass late, then where in heaven has the time gone? Something delayed it. If not the drag, what?
Start where it can't go wrong. Look between the atoms of the glass, truly between, into the little gaps that are almost all of it. For glass, like everything, is mostly empty room with a scatter of charges hung in it. In those gaps, there's nothing. And in nothing, what is light's pace?
The one speed. It can't be anything else. An empty gap has no stuff to drag it, so between the atoms the wave flies at full clip, same as it does across the void between stars. Even inside the glass, in all that empty room, the light's going at its one pace.
Hold that firmly. It's the plank the night rests on.
But it only sharpens the knife. If it never slows in the gaps, and the gaps are nearly all of it, how does it come out late at all?
Because the gaps aren't quite all of it, and the somethings hung between them are charges. You already know what a charge does when a wave washes over it. We spent last night on it. The field of the passing wave takes hold of a charge, and does what to it?
Shakes it. Plainly, that's last night. A wave's field, arriving anywhere, grabs whatever charge it finds and shoves it up and down in time with its own wagging. Catching a wave is being shaken by it. So every charge in the glass, as the wave rolls by, is taken hold of and rocked, jiggled in place, in step with the light streaming past.
Now the other trick from that beach. You know what a rocked charge does. It was the marrow of last night's fire. Go on. A charge you shake.
Throws a wave of its own. Radiates. A shaken charge can't help but fling its own kink off into the world. That was the fire we lit on the beach. So each charge in the glass, shaken by the light coming through, turns and launches a little wave of its own. It's catcher and launcher at once. Both tricks from last night, running in the one charge at the one time.
There, you've laid the engine bare and scarcely noticed. Now hold both halves at once. Through the glass rides the original wave. Call it the leader, never slowing, sailing the gaps at its one pace. And every charge it passes wakes and sends its own answering wavelet forward. So the far side of the glass doesn't receive one wave.
It receives the leader plus a whole choir of echoes, the original, and layered over it every little answering wave from every shaken charge in the glass. So what my eye finally meets isn't the bare light I sent in, it's that light plus everything the glass sang back, all added into one summed wave.
Your eye never meets the leader alone. Always the leader and its echoes together, one net wave. And here's the hinge the night swings on, so slow right down with me. Ask when each echo gets sung. The echo a charge throws back is always cast a beat behind the wave that set it going. That beat behind is a fact about how a jiggled charge re-radiates. Take it as given tonight. So each answering wavelet is laid down a touch late.
A touch late, so the echoes don't sit square on the leader, crest for crest. Each is dragged back a hair, sung a beat behind the wave that woke it. But I don't yet see why a lagging echo should slow the sum. A late little wave added onto an on-time big one. What does that adding actually make? Draw me the sum.
Two singers, one note. The leader starts. The second voice comes in a hair behind and softer, the same note, late. Listen to the blend now. Not to either voice, to the blend. Where does it swell to its fullest? Not at the leader's peak, and not at the laggards, but somewhere between, a little after the leader alone would have peaked.
Behind the leader's peak, the sum's crest pulled back by the echo hung on its coattails. The blended wave peaks a shade after the bare wave would.
Add them, and the joined crest slides late. A late, soft voice laid on an on-time strong one. There's the seed of it, entire.
The leader alone would have arrived dead on time. It's the company it keeps, all those voices answering a beat behind, that makes it late.
The glass never lays a hand on the leader's pace. It only surrounds it with laggards, and the sum keeps their time. Travel alone and arrive on time. Travel in a crowd that answers behind you, and you drag in late.
But that's one charge, one hair of lateness. A hair's nothing. How does a hair become a straw snapped in half?
Because it's never one sheet of charges. It's sheet behind sheet behind sheet, clear through the pane. The leader wakes the first sheet. Their late echo pulls the crest back a hair. That nudged wave rolls on and wakes the next sheet. Their echo pulls it back another hair. Hair on hair on hair, all the way through, and the lateness piles up. By the far face, the summed crest is dragged well back. and the beam comes out looking as though it crawled.
And nothing crawled. There's the slight of it. Nothing anywhere dropped below the 1 speed. The leader flew the gaps at full pace the entire way. Every echo flew at full pace too. Not one wave in the choir broke the limit. It's the adding, the leader plus a mob of always late echoes that drags the summed crest back, so the total limps out late, though every piece of it raced.
So say it plainly, the thing you came up the beach for.
The slowness isn't in any wave, it's in the sum.
There's your reconciliation, honest and entire. So when I say, light goes slower in glass, hear it right at last. No single wave slowed. The net wave carries its crests at a statelier march than the bare light would. An emergent pace, a crowd's pace, not a runner's. Between the charges, always the 1 speed. Only the bookkeeping of the sum dawdles.
So the two of you do shake hands. Doorway, you told the truth, the light comes out late. Fortnight, you told the truth, no wave ever slowed. Both stand because the light slowed was only loose talk for the summed crest arrives late. And that lateness was built by adding, not by dragging. I came up the beach to catch you in a lie, and you've shown me I only misheard the word slow.
Nearly everyone mishears it the same way. The word makes you see a thing labouring through mud, and there's no mud here, only a conversation. The wave asks. The charges answer, a beat late. The asking and answering, summed, is what you clock as slower light. Keep that word, conversation, in your pocket. We'll want it again tonight, for mirrors, and for why the grass is green.
I'll keep it, but let me test the machinery the way you taught me, on a case I can check. If the slowness is all in the echoes lagging, then a stuff with more charges, packed thicker, sings back more echoes and drags the crest further. Denser glass, slower crawl. Thin air, hardly any echoes, hardly any lag, light near its full pace. Does the picture keep that promise?
To the letter. Air is thin, its charges few and far between, so a feeble choir, the crest dragged back by almost nothing. Light strolls through air a whisker under its open pace. Water, then glass, denser yet. A fuller choir, a heavier drag, a statelier march. The thicker the crowd, the longer the conversation, the later the crest.
The lag just tracks the crowd. More charges, more echoes, more delay. That I can hold. But you dangled the other half at the doorway, and I've not forgotten it, the straw. It's not only that light comes out of water late, it comes out bent. Late I can just about credit, but how does running late make a beam turn a corner?
Bring back the wave's face, the marching front from last week. Not a single ray, but a broad rank of crests, a long line abreast, all stepping forward together, like soldiers dressed in a line. In open air, the rank marches 1 pace, dead straight, every man keeping the line. Now send that rank at a slant into the water. Not square on, but angled, so one end crosses the surface before the other. What must happen to the line?
If it goes in slanting, one end wades into the water first, and by all you've just taught me, that end starts singing up echoes. Its crest drags, it goes stately, while the far end's still out in the air marching full pace. One end slowed, the other quick, so the line can't stay dressed straight.
So what does the line do about it?
The quick end outruns the slow, and the rank swings. It pivots, like a line of marchers where the left files strike heavy ground, shorten up, and the entire line wheels round toward them. And where the rank points is where the beam goes, so the beam turns as it crosses in.
Hauled round toward the slow side. There's your corner. No new law, no fresh magic, only the lagging crest from a minute ago, fed in at a slant so one edge lags before the other. Refraction, the grand name for a beam bending at a surface, is a wavefront wheeling because one edge got into the conversation first.
So inside a solid block of glass, where the pace is 1 throughout, the beam runs dead straight, just slow. The turning happens only at a face, where the pace changes.
At a boundary and nowhere else. Uniform glass carries a beam straight through, dawdling but undeviating. Every bend there is lives at an edge, where quick meets slow, and one part of the rank lags its partner.
The bend and the slowing are one thing in two coats, and if it struck the surface dead square, both edges crossing together, there'd be no wheel, no bend, just a straight march inward. It's the slant that turns it. But tell me which way it swings, toward the slow water or away.
Diving in, it tucks. Crossing into the slow water, the rank wheels to face more squarely into it, tucking closer to straight down. Coming back out into the quick air, it wheels the other way, splaying open. In, it tucks. Out, it flares. Two edges, one always dawdling before its partner. That's the rule under every bend there is.
Is that the shimmer over a hot road in summer, the far tarmac looking wet, a pool of water that's never there?
That pool is the sky, bent down to the ground. Air lying on the baked road runs thinner and quicker, so light skimming low curves up off it to your eye. And your honest eye lays the sky flat on the road and calls it water.
And now I feel the straw coming, and I half dread it, because I think you're about to make me unable to see a straw plainly ever again.
Then let's ruin it properly. The straw stands in a glass of water, dipped at a slant. Light leaves its underwater part and swims up to the surface, and crossing out of the water into thinner air, its slow edge speeds up first, the rank flares, the beam kinks outward as it leaves. It reaches your eye along that kinked, wheeled road, and your eye, trusting light the way it always has,
Trusts it to have come straight, of course. My eyes got one rule and never needed a second. Light travels straight, so whatever I see sits back along the straight road the light came in on. But the road kinked this time at the surface, and my eye doesn't know it, so it runs the ray back dead straight and plants the underwater end of the straw where that straight line points, which isn't where the straw is. Higher, off to the side, snapped.
There's the break at the waterline, and now you know why, you'll never unknow it. The straw's whole and straight. The water's telling a small lie about where its lower half sits by bending the light on its way to you, and your honest eye reads the lie off without a blink. Every child who ever gasped at the broken spoon in a glass was watching a wavefront wheel, and never knew.
There it goes, a plain glass of water ruined for me forever. And it's the same coin as the fisherman, surely. They say you must spear low for a fish, aim where it looks and you'll pass clean over its back. That's this again, isn't it?
The fisherman lives by that same coin. The fish's light kinks at the surface, climbing to your eye, so the fish looks higher and nearer than it swims. Spear where it looks and you feed the fish. Spear low under the lie and you eat. The water lifts the fish to your eye without moving a fin of it.
And once I own that a surface can wheel a beam, I suppose I own more than a party trick with a straw. Could I shape the glass on purpose to bend a spread of light the way I wanted?
Now you've reached the good part. Take a broad wave and shape the glass it crosses, and you can turn every part of it to your liking. What do we call glass shaped to bend light on purpose?
A lens, spectacles, a burning glass, the round bit in a spyglass. So a lens is just a cunningly shaped surface for wheeling wavefronts. I've always thought it a kind of magical eye that gathers light, but by your account it does nothing a puddle doesn't. It only bends the beams that cross it. It's just shaped so all the bending pulls one way.
Give it a belly, fat in the middle, thin at the rim. A beam crossing the thick center is held differently from one crossing the thin edge. The outer parts of a broad wave wheeled inward more than the middle, and every part is turned so they all crowd down onto one point. A lens gathers light to a spot the way a valley gathers rain to a stream, not by pulling it, but by bending each part inward till they meet.
And that's the burning glass, the way a child fires a leaf holding a lens to the sun. All that sunlight falling broad across the glass, every part wheeled inward to pile onto one fierce bright point on the leaf till the point smokes. The lens made no more light, it bent a wide patch of sun down to a pinprick, and a wide patch's worth of sun on a pinprick is fire.
Fold a wide wave onto a point and you have a lens. And you have your eye. The round lens in the front of it bends every wavefront from the world down onto the back wall, gathering the broad light off this window, off my face, into a small, sharp picture on the screen behind.
Every lens I've ever met, and it was one idea all along: bend the front so the parts of the wave meet where you want them. And the spyglass then, that's the same greed but pointed at a star instead of a leaf.
A far star throws you only a thin thread of its light. Most of it sails past your little eye and is lost. Set a great wide lens in its road, and you catch a broad dinner plate of that light and fold it down to a point your eye can drink. The lens doesn't magnify so much as gather. It hands your small eye a giant's share of a faint, far wave.
The astronomer's great glass is a bucket for starlight, but you've slipped a thing past me 3 times now, and I want to catch it before we go on.
Well spotted. What have I been leaning on and not saying?
All this bending and gathering, the light got through the water, the burning glass, the lens in my eye, and out the far side to do its work. Late and bent, but through. Glass let it pass. And I've never once asked why I can see through a thing at all.
There's the strangest fact in the room, and you walked past it thrice. So ask it hard now. Why is glass see-through when a plank of wood the same thickness lets nothing through?
I'd never have thought to ask. Glass is clear because glass is clear, a plain property like being hard or cold. But held up to the light, it is queer. Glass and wood are both packed with charges, both crowds for the wave to shake. And the light sails through the one and dies in the other. Same charges, same shaking, opposite fates. Why?
It turns on what each crowd does with what it catches. Both are shaken, true. The wave takes hold of the charges in glass and in wood alike. But the charges in glass are honest brokers. They take the shove, sing their echo forward, and hand the light straight on down the line, without pocketing its energy. In one ear, out the other, only delayed. The light spends nothing crossing glass but time, though why glass's charges are such honest brokers, passing all the visible and drinking none, is the very debt that waits on colour. The atom's own rules, another course.
Not an absence of charges, not some hole the light slips through. A clear thing is a crowd that catches the wave and throws it forward again, all of them, so it marches out still carrying its picture. Each charge shaken, each singing the same wave onward, the light-handed charge to charge clear through and out the back, poorer by not a scrap, only later. That's transparency.
Now guess the opposite. The wood catches the wave too, its charge is shaken too, but it doesn't hand the shaking forward, it keeps it. The energy the wave brought goes into the wood's own jostling and stays there as heat, or gets flung off sideways 100 ways at once, scattered to nothing. Either road, nothing marches out the back in good order.
What went in as light doesn't come out as light. It's drunk down into the wood's own trembling, turned to a little warmth, or scattered every which way till there's no beam left to speak of. That's why the sunny side of a fence is warm to the hand. The light didn't pass and didn't bounce back. It was caught and kept. And keeping it is the same as warming. The wood ate the light and wears it as heat.
You've just explained every shadow you ever stood in. A shadow is the patch where a crowd of charges drank the light and wouldn't pass it on. Mark the knife edge between the fates. Clear or opaque isn't about how packed the stuff is, nor how hard. Only whether the crowd hands the wave forward or pockets it. Glass hands it on. Wood pockets it. That single choice is a window or a wall.
Though a window's never a perfect broker, is it? Of a night I catch my own ghost hung in the dark pane. So even clear glass throws a little back.
A sliver, always. At each face, a trace is turned back, while the rest goes through. By day, the bright world outside drowns that sliver. By night, with dark behind the glass, the faint returned image is all there is. And there you hang in the window.
And water sits on the clear side. It hands the light on. So I see down into a pond, but only so far, and then the deep goes black. Is that the same story running out of road? The top charges pass it on, and the next, and the next. But each conversation costs a little, till after fathoms enough there's no beam left to hand on, and the deep is a wall, after all.
After fathoms enough, even honest brokers lose the thread. A scrap scattered here, a scrap pocketed there, and a long enough crowd nibbles the light to nothing. Clear is never perfectly clear. It's clear enough over the span you look through. A hand's width of glass, near flawless. A mile of it, black as a wall. The window and the ocean's deep are one stuff, telling one story at two lengths.
And is that why deep clear water shows blue-green? Not the sky caught in it, but the water itself eating a little red down the long fathoms.
Fathoms of it turn-eater. Over a cupful you'd never catch the appetite, but deep down it drinks the reds away and leaves the blue-greens to climb back up. A deep pool wears its colour the way a mile of glass turns dark. By a long, patient nibble.
Then here's a puzzle that sits between your fates: frosted glass, the bathroom pane. Light plainly gets through it, the room's bright behind it, but I can't see a thing through it, only a blur. It's clear and it's not, all at once. Where does that sit?
A lovely in-between, and you can read it off what you already hold. The glass still hands the light forward, so the room stays bright, the energy passes. But the surface is roughened, pebbled, so each little patch wheels its part of the wave a different crooked way. The light comes through in full, but the picture riding on it is scrambled on the way, dashed to a blur. Think of it as the rough mirror's cousin, the same broken dress, only in a wave passing through instead of a wave thrown back.
Frosted glass keeps the light and loses the picture, just the rough mirror's trick, told forward instead of backward. The energy marches through. The order it marched in is smashed. A fine bridge, but it points me straight at the case I've itched to reach, because it makes no sense to me at all. A mirror. It throws the light straight back at me, whole, with my own face riding on it. It's not passing the wave on, and it's not swallowing it. What kind of crowd does that?
A crowd with a different sort of charge in it. In glass, in wood, the charges are tied, each bound to its own atom, free only to jiggle a little in place, like a man tethered to a post who can shuffle but not run. A metal's another country. It is packed with loose charges, the same free runners that carry a current down a wire, bound to no one atom, free to slide clear across the body of the stuff. Free. That one word changes everything the wave meets.
The current carriers from the antenna rod last night, the ones sloshing freely up and down the metal. So when the wave's field reaches a metal, it's not shaking tethered charges that can only quiver in place. It's shoving charges that can actually go, slide bodily wherever the field pushes. And a charge that can go where it's pushed answers the wave far more fiercely than one pinned to a post, I'd wager. Does the fierceness change the ending?
Altogether. Watch the loose crowd when the field comes on. It points one way and shoves the free charges, and being free, they run, they pile up, they rearrange in a flash, and they keep flowing until they've built a field of their own that points dead against the waves and cancels it. The loose charges arrange themselves to kill the field inside the metal. Just under the surface, the wave's own field is met and beaten down to nothing.
The free charges are a bodyguard that won't let the field in. The wave pushes, they instantly shove back a field of their own that snuffs it. So anywhere inside the metal, the field cancels to nothing. But a wave is its field. If the field can't survive inside the metal, then neither can the wave. There's no wave in there because there's no field left in there for a wave to be.
A wave that cannot get in has one road left. Unlike the wood, a metal's free charges don't burn the energy up. So with no way in and nothing to soak it, there's nowhere left for the light but back out. The light can't cross a place where its own field is forbidden, so it's turned on the doorstep and flung back the way it came. The incoming wave, denied entry, is thrown whole into the room. That's a mirror, top to bottom. A crowd of free charges rushing to cancel the field and slamming the door on the light so hard it bounces.
A mirror is a crowd of electrons slamming the door on the light. All my life I've thought a looking glass was a special silvered skin with some polish that happened to throw a picture back, a trick of the coating. It's nothing of the sort. It's a wall of loose charges that won't let a field pass, so every wave that comes knocking is bounced off the threshold. The shine of every metal I've seen is charges refusing the light entry.
A bare metal shines before anyone silvers a thing. Any bright spoon, kettle, or blade throws light back, being that same crowd of free charges. A looking glass is only a sheet of smooth metal with a pane of glass laid over to keep it flat and bright. The mirror work isn't in the glass at all. It's in the thin metal skin behind, doing the one thing metals do, turning the light at the door.
And it's not only the light I see. A wireless goes dead inside a metal shed, doesn't it? The same door shut on the broadcast.
Radio's only light with a longer stride. So yes, the free charges cancel its field just as briskly, and a metal box throws a broadcast back as surely as it throws your face. Your wireless goes deaf inside a mirror.
But then, why do I see my face in it, and not a blank flash of bounced light? If the charges are hurling the entire wave back, I'd look for a glare, a dazzle, not a tidy picture of me, right way up, every feature in its place. How does a bouncing crowd of charges keep the picture together?
Because the crowd is smooth and flat, and it throws each part of the wave back in the order it arrived. The wave lands as that broad marching rank again. The part off your left cheek strikes here and turns back on the left. The part off your right, there, turned back on the right. None scrambled, each thrown back, keeping its place in the line. A smooth crowd bounces the rank without breaking its dress. So the picture survives, only flipped, and there's your face, handed back.
And that's why a rough bit of metal shows no face. A dull grey iron, a beaten pewter. It's still throwing the light back, still bouncing the wave, but the surface is bumpy, so each part of the rank is flung off at its own crooked angle, the dress all broken. The picture's scrambled to a shapeless gleam. Same bouncing, same free charges, only in disorder, and disorder is no picture.
Smooth throws a face, rough only a glow. That's the one difference between a looking glass and a dull knife. And notice a metal keeps almost nothing. A true mirror pays no toll, throws back all it's handed. A real spoon keeps a sliver, which is why it warms a shade in the sun. But next to the wood, which drinks the lot, the metal is a miser that hoards none and returns near all.
Then is any metal a mirror, or are some the better for it? Why silver the glass and not iron?
The finest mirrors are the metals whose free charges answer the entire visible family and fling it all back. A few metals sip a stride or two and come back faintly tinted. But why this metal sips that colour is one more knock on the locked door.
The metal is the honest broker's opposite. The broker passes it forward, the metal hurls it backward, and only the wood is the thief that keeps it. 3 fates, 1 wave, and the crowd decides which. Through, bounced, drunk. A tidy shelf you've built, but there's a thing sitting on your sill that none of the 3 quite explains. This apple. It's not clear, it's not a mirror, and it's not a shadow. It's red. Why red?
The apple's on the bouncing shelf. It throws light back. That's why you see it lit and not as a shadow. But it bounces with a fussiness we've not allowed yet. So far, I've let the crowd treat every colour of light alike. Pass them all, pocket them all, bounce them all. Real crowds aren't so even-handed. A real crowd answers some colours far more eagerly than others. And colour, recall from last week, is only the wave's stride, how close its crests are strung.
The stride. The frenzied, fast shaking makes the short-strided waves at the blue end. The lazy shaking makes the long-strided ones at the red end. The family's sorted by how close the crests run, so the charges in the apple don't answer every stride alike. Some strides they take to and some they let alone, and which they take to and which they spurn decides the colour I see. Walk me in.
Take the apple in white light, plain sunlight, and hold on to this is not one pure thing, but all the strides bundled together, the family travelling as one and looking white to you. That white crowd lands on the skin, and the skin's charges drink down nearly all of it. They answer the blues, the greens, the yellows, take up their shaking and keep it as warmth. But the reds they will not drink. Those they spurn and throw back. So back to your eye comes.
Only the red, the one stride the skin refused to swallow, bounced while all its brothers were drunk down and kept. So the apple isn't red the way I dumbly thought, as though red were painted on it. The apple is the thing that eats every colour but red. It's red because red's the part it wouldn't eat, the leftover, the reject, handed back to me. The colour of a thing is the light it didn't want.
Grass plays it the other way about. Its charges drink the reds and the blues and spurn the green, so back to you comes green. A bluebell keeps the rest and hands you the blue. Every colour of every solid thing you've ever seen is the scrap its charges declined to swallow. The light they refused bounced back off a meal of all the others.
This coloured world, red apple, green grass, yellow gorse, a painted door, is a world of fussy eaters, each swallowing most of the sunlight and spitting back the one part it can't stomach, and the reject is the colour. Then black and white must be the 2 ends of the fussiness, a thing that eats every stride and a thing that spurns them all.
You've walked straight to it. A black thing is the unfussy glutton. It drinks every stride, hands back nothing, so no light returns to your eye and you call it black. And being all appetite, it warms fastest in the sun, as a black coat will tell you on a hot day. Snow, chalk, a white wall. The fussy refuser at the far end spurns every stride alike and bounces the entire white crowd back unsorted. White is all the colours returned. Black is all of them kept.
Then that's why mixing paints muddies toward brown, when you'd think mixing ought to brighten. Each paint eats its own strides, and 2 together eat more between them.
2 eaters at one table leave less on the plate. Each pigment swallows its share. Lay two together, and between them they swallow nearly all. And back comes only a dim, muddy remnant. Mixing paint is stacking appetites, not adding light.
But now I must ask the question you can feel coming. Why? Why does the apple spurn red and drink the rest, while the grass does the opposite?
And there's the door I must keep shut. The same one I shut on you last night. Why a particular stuff drinks a particular stride. Why the apple's charges answer the blue and turn from the red. Why the green stuff in a leaf takes the red and blue and spares the green, is set by the private insides of its atoms, by what shaking a bound charge in that stuff will and won't take up. And that reckoning belongs to rules we've not laid a finger on. It's the same debt I owe you for why a hot thing climbs toward blue.
I'll not push it then. But be straight with me. It's not that nobody knows, is it? It's that the knowing wants a different course than this one, a set of rules about the insides of atoms you've kept off the table from the start.
Just so, the knowing lives in another course, and tonight you get the honest shape without the depths. A thing's colour is which strides its charges drink, and which they spurn. That a thing is choosy you now hold.
Then let me nail the piece you did hand me. That white light is the family bundled, not a pure thing on its own. That still rings odd. White looks the plainest, purest light there is, the blank, the nothing colour. And you're telling me it's the most crowded of all, every colour at once, riding together. How does anyone know white's a mob and not a single simple thing?
Newton knew, and proved it with a wedge of glass. He let a thin beam of plain white sunlight fall through a prism, a three-cornered block, and out the far side the white came apart into a fan. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, spread in a band like a rainbow pinned to a wall. White went in. The spread of colours came out. He'd added nothing. They'd been in there all along, riding together as white, and the glass merely combed them apart.
Then could you comb them back, catch the fan and bundle it into white once more to prove he'd truly conjured nothing?
Newton did just that. A second prism set the other way about, and the fan folded home into plain white again. Take the colours apart, put them back together, and white returns. Proof he'd added not a thing, only sorted what rode there all along.
And that's your wheeling wavefront again. The prism bends each colour by a different amount, so it fans them out. Each stride wheeled through its own angle, crossing the glass, so one white beam came out a spread band, sorted by stride. So a rainbow is the sky doing Newton's trick with raindrops. Each drop a little prism, combing the sunlight into its colours across the arc of the sky.
Confirmed. And there's the whole of colour in one frame. White is all the strides at once. A prism, or a raindrop, fans them apart by wheeling each stride differently, and a coloured thing sorts them another way, by drinking some and bouncing the rest. The rainbow shows you the family laid out in the open. The apple shows you the family with all but one member eaten.
Every colour I've ever seen was already inside the plain white light of the sun, folded up together, and all the world does is take that white and either comb it out or eat part of it away. Grass makes no green, the apple makes no red, the sun brought every colour bundled, and the grass and the apple only subtract. Colour isn't added to the world, it's what's left after the world's taken its bites.
Hold that and look out the window at the one colour we've not accounted for. The sky. There's no blue thing up there, no painted dome, no blue stuff hung overhead. Only air. The same clear air you see straight through for miles at eye level. Clear as glass close up, and blue overhead. How does a clear nothing turn blue when you look up through enough of it?
By your own rule, it oughtn't have any colour. Air's on the clear shelf, it hands the light through, That's why I can see across a field. So if it's passing the light on faithfully, where does blue come from? Unless, is this the scattering you named for the wood? The charges in the air catching the light and flinging it sideways, rather than handing it straight on, and flinging some strides more than others.
That's the thread. The thin charges of the air catch the passing sunlight and fling a little of it off sideways, every which way, scatter it, and they fling the short blue strides far more readily than the long red ones. So the blue is forever knocked out of the straight sunbeam and thrown across the sky, each patch of sky answering the sun in blue. Look up anywhere and you catch strayed blue pouring in from every side.
The blue of the sky is sunlight gone sideways, the short strides slapped out of the straight beam and scattered across the dome till they pour down on me from everywhere but the sun itself. That's why the sky glows blue while the sun sits there yellow-white. I'm seeing the strayed blue overhead, and the beam that reached me straight is the one that kept going, robbed of some of its blue. And sunset, is that the same account, run to its end?
At dusk, the sun sits low, and its light must graze the long slant way through the air to reach you. Miles more of it than at noon. Along that long slant, the blue is scattered away, knocked aside over and over, till hardly a blue stride survives the journey to your eye. What limps through at the end of that grazing road is what's left. The reds and the oranges, the long strides the air let pass. And so the low sun burns red for the plainest reason. Its blue was stolen on the way.
It's blue stolen on the way, and the red is what got through. So one trick paints the noon sky blue and the evening sun red. One's the strayed light I catch from the side, the other's the survived light I catch head-on once the blue's been robbed off it. And a cloud, then. Why is that white when it's only water and water's clear?
A cloud is water gone lumpy. Not a clear body, but a haze of tiny droplets. And a droplet is big and clumsy next to the wave's stride, so it doesn't play favourites. It scatters every colour alike, blue and red and all between, flinging the full white crowd back at you unsorted. Fine air picks out the blue, fat droplets grab the lot. So the sky between is blue and the cloud upon it white. The same scattering told by two sizes of catcher.
The sky, morning to dusk, cloud and clear, is one long conversation between the sunlight and the charges in the water and air. Some strides thrown wide, some let through, some flung back whole. And I've read the sky's mood off it all my life, never once knowing I was watching a scattering.
There's the word from the start of the night come round again. One conversation, from the blue noon to the white cloud to the red dusk. Everything we've touched is that. The wave arrives, the charges answer, and what you see is the shape of their answer. Slower light, the charges answering a beat late. A bent straw, one edge answering before the other. A mirror, free charges answering by refusing. A red apple and a blue sky, charges answering some strides and not others.
Light meets matter, matter answers, and the answer is the world I see. And every answer traces to the one thing, a charge shaken and a charge shaking back. I came up the beach with a grievance about a slow window, and you've spent it into the whole lit world.
A conversation with no listener left out. Every charge in everything is in it, catching and answering, so long as any light is falling. And not a scrap of it wanted a new law. It's all last week's fire. A charge shaken sheds a wave washing a charge shakes it. The two tricks of one beach run a billionfold inside every solid thing. Out of that endless catching and answering falls slowness and bending and mirrors and every colour there is.
Then you've paid the debt you set at the doorway. The light meets the world, and here's what the world does with it. But you never send me home without leaving a plank loose on purpose. So, where've you kept your hand pressed flat tonight? Beyond the two ode doors, the Y of colour and the Y of the blue fire. What's the big board still down, under everything we've walked these 10 weeks?
Here's the one, and it's larger than tonight. It runs back under all 10 nights. Everything we've ever explained, from the first spark to this apple, we explained with fields. Faraday's lines, the electric and the magnetic. The real actors, the things that reach across space and shove a charge. 10 weeks the field has been the hero of every story. And I've let you believe it's the bottom of things. The deepest there is. The floor under the world.
And it isn't the floor. The field's been the ground of all of it. The lines, the wave, the shove, the entire cast. I've stood on the field the way a man stands on bedrock. You're telling me there's a cellar under the field? Something further down than the thing I took for the bottom?
A cellar under it. And here's the strange part. You've walked its floor the entire course without my ever naming it. Cast back to the voltage, the landscape, the hills and valleys a charge rolls through. That was no field. That was a quieter quantity beneath the field, a kind of bookkeeping we kept using to make the sums come out, and I let you take it for a convenience, a scaffolding. It's more than scaffolding. There's a deeper layer of accounting under the fields, and we've leaned on it all along without once asking what it is.
A bookkeeping we've used and never questioned, the voltage landscape, and something like it for the magnetism too, I'd guess. But bookkeeping sounds a convenience, a way of tallying, not a real thing out in the world. You always taught me the field was what's real, and the sums were just how we track it. Are you about to tell me the sums are realer than I thought? That the accounting's somehow out there?
That's next week, and I'll only crack the door. There's a famous case, a still, quiet arrangement, where a particle is sent through a region in which the field itself is nothing at all. No electric field, no magnetic, flat zero everywhere the particle goes. By all I've taught you, nothing should touch it. No field, no shove, no effect. And yet it comes through nudged, shifted, marked by having passed. Something reached out and moved it where there was no field to do the moving.
Nothing there to push it, no field the entire way, and it comes out pushed anyway? That can't sit inside anything you've taught me. If the field's what shoves, and there's no field, there's no shove, and the particle sails through untouched. But you're saying it doesn't. Something with no field still left a mark on it. Then either the field isn't the only actor, or the emptiness it walked through wasn't as empty as the field let on.
One of those two, and which it is, turns your picture of what's real over. That quieter bookkeeping under the field, the thing we've used and never named. In that still arrangement, it reaches out and touches the particle where the field cannot, and leaves its mark. It has been under everything, silent, doing its work behind the fields these 10 weeks. Next time we go down the cellar stairs and meet it, the ghost beneath the field.
The ghost beneath the field. You've done it again, sent me home with a hook in me. 10 weeks you've had me believing the field was the last word, the floor of the world, and on the way out the door you knock on that floor and it sounds hollow.
A room beneath that hollow floor, and worth the wait, for when you meet what's down there, you'll see the fields differently ever after, the way you now see a plain glass of water differently. But don't let the cellar rob you of the house. Stand a moment in what you built tonight before you go. You came up the beach with one small crime to solve, a window that slowed the light.
I did. One slow window, one bent straw, a small domestic grievance, and look what it opened. I'll carry it all up the road. I used to think a thing simply had its colour, the way it has its weight, and you've shown me a colour is a conversation, the light asking, the matter answering, and the answer thrown back to my eye is the red of the apple, and the green of the grass, and the blue of the whole wide evening. I'll never again think I'm only looking at the world. I'm listening to it answer the light. See you next week, down the cellar stairs, to meet the ghost you say is holding the floor up.